trafficking, and some of them are from Northeast, or maybe many of them. So there is an issue here that we from the Northeast needs to be concerned about. We need to look into, and I think this is a wonderful opportunity we are having. The opportunity is listening to Madam Malati. We will be enlightened further on this matter, and we'll be able to take further steps in the course of in the process of course correction regarding human trafficking. As it is well known, we all in the Northeast, irrespective of our religious affiliation, we are very much concerned about trafficking taking place from Northeast India to outside, particularly outside of Northeast India. And this is a golden opportunity for us to make ourselves conscientized on this very important topic. And I'm happy to be here and give this presidential address, and over to Reverend Roger.
Thank you, Bishop Thomas, for your introductory remarks as the chairperson. And we shall now enter into the discussion on the main theme, looking at Chennai. As our Bishop has already mentioned, we have covered all the Northeast states. In general, we were saying the Northeast states are source points, though of course sometimes they are transit and destination. But now our focus is, if Northeast is a source point, what about the destination points? And one of the important destination points to which Northeasterners are taken is Chennai. And therefore this evening, we've got Ms. Malati Tangamani to give us a short presentation of 15 minutes on the scenario in Chennai. Over to you, Madam Malati.
Thank you, sir. I'm Malati and I work as a program manager with Justice and Hope. And thank you for all who have joined for this evening session. And this shows your commitment and passion. And I'm sure that we are here to make a difference, to learn something, and also, put in our community wherever we are working. So before I begin, I'll just give a short orientation. Let me share my screen about Justice and Hope.
The vision of Justice and Hope is to enable protection of human rights for the vulnerable, equip those responsible for upholding rights, and engage the community to bring change and be changed. Project Ummeed, ending child sexual abuse. 53.2% of children are victims of child sexual abuse. Ummeed, to build self-governed communities with systems of safety that will prevent child sexual abuse and holistically restore those affected. Project Rahat, ending domestic violence. 2 out of 5 families in India face domestic violence. Rahat is to support and assist individuals affected by domestic violence, strengthening community response and prevention. Project Diya, ending human trafficking. 20% of global modern slavery in India. 8 million trapped at any given time. Diya, to support trafficked individuals and those vulnerable become overcomers and agents of prevention in the community. Project Unnati, advancing the differently abled. 26.8 million persons in India live with disability. That is 2.21% of the total population. Unnati, to build supportive, inclusive and accessible communities for the differently abled persons and enable a life of dignity and purpose. Justice and Hope. You can contact our helpline at 95000 25000 or visit our website at www.justiceandhope.org.
Okay, that's an overview of our work. And just give me a few seconds to share my PPT. All right. So today I'll be presenting about what is the anti-trafficking project of Justice and Hope and how we work with the survivors or those vulnerable to be trafficked here in Chennai. To begin with, as you could see, like our to work with the one. So the vision of Justice and Hope is to enable protection of human rights. Basically, we are a human rights organization in Chennai, and it was started in 2013 by like-minded people, where we work to equip those responsible for upholding rights. That is, we work with the public justice system, like we work with the Child Welfare Committee, District Child Protection Unit, the court system. Whoever is involved in the protection of human rights, we work with the government system to ensure that public justice system is in place. And also we engage the community to bring change and be changed, where we train and equip community members. It could be school groups, colleges, different groups of NGOs, and, n number of any individuals who are interested in this fight against trafficking. We work with them and train them so that they can prevent trafficking happening in their community. So our project, which is called DIA. DIA means light. So here our vision is to work with trafficked individuals and those vulnerable, that they become overcomers and agents of prevention in their community, so that they are leaders and they join our fight against injustice. So as you could see, the prevalence rate in India, in the country, like human trafficking is a global issue. And I will not go into details of what is human trafficking, because I'm sure that almost everyone here are expert working in this field. But something to look on is that human trafficking, there is one act is involved. That is, you either recruit, transport, transfer, and there is means where you use force and, fraud, or, you trick victims into the trap. And then the purpose is sex trafficking or bonded labor or organ harvesting. So these are the key elements in trafficking. And I'll be sharing the restorative response. That is the aftercare process, like how it looks when a survivor comes, when a victims comes into our facility, how we work with. So today we'll just look at an overview of the 3 restorative responses of Justice and Hope. One is restoration model, another is trauma-informed care approach, finally community participatory approach. To begin talking about restoration, restoration is basically the process where we want to, like, whoever is trafficked or whoever is abused and exploited or whoever is vulnerable to be trafficked, we work with those children and women in the women and ensure them that they have a safe, they are sent back home safely and where they can rebuild their life. So our project DIA as you could see on the screen, this is our restoration model. So here in Chennai, what Justice and Hope does is we work with the government protection homes for children and for women. Okay, women in judicial custody, basically. So where these children, these women are rescued by the police, or children rescued by the child line, or placed in this home, and our work begins once they are rescued. So currently, if you could see, rescue, we are yet to do rescues, but we work as soon as the rescue is done by the police, the other NGOs, and when they are brought into the facility under the government home, is where our work begins. To begin with, as you could see the steps on your screen, like rescue, renew, reintegrate, restore, rebuild. So rebuild, as you could see, that's our final stage. Okay, rebuild is a stage where our vision, our project's vision is there, where we want the trafficked individuals or vulnerable children and women to become an overcomer, to become leaders in their community. So to begin, like to rebuild lives, the work happens at the rescue stage. Like once they are rescued, the work begins at the rescue stage. So in the rescue stage, preliminary things that our team does is, so there are trained counselors and social workers. So as soon as they are brought into the system, the intake happens, intake of the child, intake of the women happens, where we find out where they belong, like what language. Here the barrier is like not many people in Chennai speak the Hindi or any other language, other regional language, which is the strength of our team actually, where we have multiple language speaker. So we help the government in, translating or in gathering information. So once the children are rescued, any help they need in terms of care kit, like any personal hygiene or clothes they need immediate after the rescue, the team ensure that we provide it. And after rescue stage, there is renew stage. This stage is very important because renew stage is the stage where we work with the mindset of the survivors. Imagine a child being trafficked, by trick or by force, and who's sent to Chennai and beaten up, drugged, and and the traffickers telling the person that you are nothing, there is no one who can come and rescue you are like, you will be here forever, you cannot escape. Imagine the mindset of the child, or women who are being traumatized once, even though if we are rescued and we put them in a safe place, the mindset is not safe. Like their mind, they still will feel that they do not feel safe. So it's when our counselors, social workers work closely with them, build rapport, build trust, and prepare them to be repatriated or reintegrated back into their community. So once the reintegration work starts is where we build safety net. As you could see in the stage 3, building safety net is where we work with similar interest NGOs, groups who are interested in anti-trafficking work, who are willing to do home study for the child before he or she is being reintegrated. So we are more open to collaboration, so that for the child, for the women, we can help them to restore in an effective way. So once the children are reintegrated, is when the restoration stage comes into place. Restoration is nothing but whatever the dreams, whatever the goals, the children, the women share during the renew stage, when the counselors work with them, it's when our team ensures that they have they can continue education, or they can do vocational training, all that restoration plans, we ensure that it happens in the destination state or district of the child or a woman. And once children are restored is where our rebuilding work starts. Like we train them to become leaders and overcomers. So let me give you a short story here. So there was a girl that was trafficked, like she was 14 years old when her relative trafficked her from Bangladesh. So she was rescued and placed in the government facility. And then, you know, our counselors worked with her and found her dream. Like, she was very good with you know, craft, like handicraft work. And then our team did a home study. When the child was here, our team did a home study in Bangladesh, and we found out that the home is not safe. You know, the child can be sent in a residential facility where, you know, they can offer her vocational skill. So a time came where the child was reintegrated through border security force and repatriated to the Bangladesh. And then, you know, and then we get a call from the girl saying that, you know, I cannot stay longer in the place with my family and relatives. And, you know, and it's better that I get back to, you know, the residential facility or a home where I can be, you know, placed. And the counselor worked and enrolled her in the residential facility. And it's where she's, you know, undergoing training and also like earning stipend, like she's been given stipend. So this is how the restoration model works. And let me move on to the next restorative responses. Trauma informed care. As I informed, like, trauma is something very complex. You know, it's the effects of what is being done to you. Like, you know, imagine like a child being tricked and beaten, drugged. You know, there is this consequence, like, you know, sequence of negative experiences the child, the women undergo, and the brain records it. And it becomes very difficult. Lay people will not understand. So we felt that we will equip those who are working with survivors on this approach called trauma informed care, where they will be trained, okay, where they will be trained how to handle children and how to help children overcome their trauma. Because traumatized children will have these symptoms, as you could see on your screen. You know, there is anxiety, withdrawal symptoms, sleep disturbance. Sometimes, like, our counselors will enter the government protection homes, and, you know, right away the caretakers will complain, this girl didn't sleep, she was like, she's not eating, she put the light on, and, you know, she was not sleeping. So but the caretakers do not understand that why the child is behaving, because, you know, because of the traumatic experience, the child's brain involuntarily responds to the stress, to the negative experience, you know, what he or she has gone through. So it's when we help the, you know, caretakers, the staff, to understand why the child or, you know, women are behaving in a particular way. So this approach is very important, as, you know, we work with survivors of trafficking. And when it is, sometimes it is short-term symptoms that is shown, sometimes it is long-term, which is very challenging, because here there is acute anxiety and, you know, prevailing social avoidance, suicidal thoughts, substance abuse, aggression, and all these symptoms. So to train a team on trauma informed care, we usually take 2 days of workshop. So if anyone interested, you can let us know. And the final restorative response is community-based approach. Okay, here we work with the community because we want them to come together, collectively come together, take action, generate solutions for the problem in the community. And we do it through certain methods. And again, here we can train communities how to do this, how to apply this approach. And so here, where we allow the community members, children, women, you know, old members, you know, to describe their community, like what are the strengths in their community. Like, why we begin with strength is that so that they can celebrate what is their strong and what are the resources they have, and they can map out the resources in their community. And then once they find the solution, problem, then we ask them to analyze and prioritize what's the issue in their community, and then take action. Due to pandemic, we are not able to do it completely, but we are trying our best to equip people how to what are the problem and what is the root cause. So this is one tool. I'm just sharing it with you. Imagine the trunk is the problem, root is the causes, and the symptoms are the branches, the leaves. Okay, let's take the problem of human trafficking. So here we begin, the facilitators will begin asking questions on why human trafficking happening in your community. Then the people will say poverty. Why poverty? education, why lack of education, there is greed, all like the questions here will be more of like, but why, but why this problem? And once the causes are given, then the symptoms, like the effects of the problem. Okay, when the problem is this, okay, what happens? Then the people will say, then there is, children are sold by the parents, children are sent to work because of poverty, all that, or forced marriage happens, or women get violence against women and children increases. So all that, I think it takes a lot of time to do this tool, so that you're going deeper and deeper and finding out what is the root cause in a community, like how you can develop a program appropriate for the community, appropriate project in a community to handle the issue of trafficking. So, and then you take action based on what resources you have, who do we need on board, what are the obstacles, all these issues we collectively work with the community to make them think, find out what could get in our way, or how we are heading in a right direction or not, all that. So that's the very quick overview of our restorative response. And any question or anything, you can let us know. Thank you once again, Father Tom, Bishop Thomas, and other dignitaries for inviting Justice and Hope to share our work.
Thank you, Malati, for your presentation. Before we get to the responses, can you just tell us whether you have had on any occasion met with people from Northeast India who were trafficked and whom your organization Justice and Hope attended to?
Yes, Dr. Roger. So I mentioned about we work with the women, basically women in judicial custody, where 90% of the cases we receive here are, victims of trafficking. And here in this home, you can always find 5% of cases, 5 to 10% of cases from the Northeast, like women from Nagaland, Meghalaya, Assam, children from Assam come. Every year we will have a case. And, my colleague is also with me. She works with the, with the women in judicial custody. And that's our statistics when we work with the government protection home. And even in this year, in the beginning of this year, a boy was trafficked for work from Tirupura. And we have to rescue him. He was falsely, placed in a crime that he did not commit. So our team helped with repatriating. Even it is when I even contacted Father Tom, like if someone can do a home study or like help the family come back to Chennai. But somehow the family got a support and they came here. And so that's our experience with the government protection homes. And has in the beginning, Father Tom mentioned that when the migrant crisis happened due to the pandemic is when we came across, in thousands of migrants from Northeast. And with the help of a network called Loving the Migrant Network is where we helped people to board trains, to help them with shelter, accommodation, whatever is required, for the journey. And I think over 40,000, people we were able to reintegrate. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Malati. We will now go on to the responses. Dr. Rini Ralte will be making the first response. And is Dr. Siamle there? I was told that Dr. Siamle may also be making a response. Anyway, we
Yes.
start with Dr. Rini Ralte.
Yes.
Hi, hi Malati. Nice to see you again. Yeah, I was expecting you to say more about it because you are speaking from your experiences. And so a number of questions I have, or not only a question, but also more or less a concern. Okay, last Friday, I reported that one Karbi girl was rescued in Bangalore. So then we work with the CWC and then Karbi community. So yesterday, they told me that when they went to the CWC, they kept her in a state home, women's state home. And then one of the committee members informed that there are two other women from Assam. They have been there for 3 years and nobody claimed them. So then we are working and trying to negotiate that whether the three of them can be rescued by Karbi people, Karbi leaders who are in Bangalore. So they agreed with the condition that some organizations should step forward to take responsibility. I say that we can do that. We will do the responsibility. So then next Tuesday, there will be a committee in Bangalore. That is where we are expecting that they may be released. So then they are also informing that there is a train, Bangalore to Guwahati train on that Tuesday night, late night. So hoping that the three girls may be transferred to Guwahati with one woman travel with them. So then nobody has money because many of the leaders are not getting their salary properly. So they are in a with the mercy of their friends, they are sustaining their life in Bangalore. So to buy a train ticket itself with 900 rupees sleeper, but since they have to buy with Tatkal, it will be 1,200, something like that, for 4 people and then one person to come back. So it comes around 6,000 plus food, maybe around 10,000 also. So then we don't know where do we find that money, and is there any provision? That is also one question I would like to raise. Second thing is that yeah, we all know that safe migration is also one of the campaign we have. Whether it's possible to have safe migration, very tough because our state cannot give them opportunity or job. Because some of us are in the context of Armed Forces Special Power Act, and that hinders our economic growth. On top of that, COVID comes. And then on top of that, boundary disputes come. So it started with Mizoram, and then now we are coming to Meghalaya. We never know what's going to be our future. So we are in a very, very dim situation right now. At the same time, migration continues. So there are some technical area, actually, there are many, many technical areas. For example, even if you rescue, of course, we can put them in a government state home for some time. Everything is so complicated once it comes to the government. Nobody can help. I don't know why everything has become so complicated. So when we rescue Mariaba from Manipur, maybe like 7 or 8 years ago in Bangalore, and there are 11 boys from Northeast who are in the state home, boys state home. So they say that 1 or 2 girls are there from Northeast also. So nobody claim. And then when you try to approach the committee member, they don't want to talk to us properly. I don't know. I say that if they are rescued by the state, I thought that their priority is to bring them back to their home and somebody can help. But that is not the idea. They suspected everybody and they make their life complicated. Sometimes they meet only once a month. How come they meet only once a month? The frequency is too long. When human trafficking is related with urgent and emergency and crisis situation. So therefore, lot of training. I don't know whether there is any mandate from the central government to handle this one. Because it varies from state to state. Some states are very cooperating and things are very easily done. Other states are too complicated. They just don't want to make things work out. So delaying tactic, but who is benefiting? So as you say, that psychological trauma related to the victims, even 1 day is too long, 1 hour is also too long. So those are the real situation. I'm sure that in the near future, we are going to face this problem much more in a higher scale because livelihood is a threat and people are in starvation, I would say. And many of them are in a suicidal stage, taking loans, they cannot recover the loans, and then renting house, so many loans. And then the bank has no mercy on them. So we are in a very difficult situation right now. In that context, human trafficking is also increasing on the rise. So it is very, very complicated. So those are basically the concern I just expressed, and if we have some comments on that would be appreciated, maybe much more than that also. Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes, Malti, we'll be glad to hear from you.
I will tell what are the challenges even when we do repatriation, like reintegration of children from not just from Northeast, even other state. So this is the process here I will speak. So what happens is the reintegration process differ for different state, but as per the JJ Act, Juvenile Justice Act, where the children come under the government facility. Here what they do is the district child protection office, every district will have a district child protection office or a unit, is where they will help. Basically the government should be doing the repatriation work. So here we stepped in, like Justice and Hope NGO, we stepped in because there were n number of children, and then the resources were limited. So the home requested us if we can help in escorting, basically taking the children to the destination state. So what happens here is whenever there is a Northeast or anybody outside Tamil Nadu are here, what happens is when we do our repatriation, what we do is we take the home official, there will be a home representative or the child, and we just assist them so that we take care of all the resources in booking tickets, local travel, food, whatever, because of to support the children and the home is where we do this work. And we raise resources to carry out reintegration work. So this happens, and government is the one that needs to be should be doing repatriation of children. And with the women here, like with the women in the judicial custody, what happens is when women are rescued and placed in the facility here, they are being asked to contact their family members immediately to file a petition in the court for their release. Okay, because this is a victim home. If the women says like there is no one who can come and take me and all that, so what the procedure here is that the women are placed in a halfway home, a short stay home, where that organization will help the women to be repatriated. So that is the system which works, for the Chennai, for Tamil Nadu here. And also in Tamil Nadu, if you take Tamil Nadu homes, like the government homes are like the nodal agency kind. So if you find a Northeast, a boy from Northeast in any other districts in Tamil Nadu, all the boys will be, other state, outside Tamil Nadu state boys will be gathered in Chennai, which is like a headquarter, and their repatriation or, reintegration work happens. So that's the system here. And with the Bangalore, I'm sure if you could let me know, like, what are the challenges specifically, maybe after the meeting later, like we could help out, like with whatever networking contacts we have in Karnataka and ensure that the women or like the girls get back home. But let me tell you, it is a challenging scenario to, to work with, to equip. It's challenging to take up this case and work with different stakeholders. It's not just the child welfare committee or the home, but there are police involved. There are like, we have the department here has the Directorate of Social Defense. So that is the main government body where all the homes come under. We have to, like, as an NGO, we have to apply permission and renew every year to allow inside to work. So there are challenges, but what we do is we persevere, like keep on repeat, and and then kind of succeed, or still fighting. That's the situation actually. I hope I answered some of your questions. Yeah.
What about the safe migration question, which Dr. Rini asked?
Thank you, Dr. Roger. Yes. So for safe migration is where our community-based approach come into play, is where we train the community members like how they can safeguard themselves in preventing. So we actually have a training module called right-based community intervention, where we equip different stakeholders, not just the community, even the officials. Let's take trafficking. So trafficking, we have the legal response, like we trained people on the legal provisions under trafficking, and what are the aftercare plans, and what are the preventive aspect. It's a very comprehensive training that we equip NGO workers, the government staff, whoever is interested to know about the subject and how to help the survivors in a better way. Because they're also getting training, but consistent training will help them work better. So that is one training. And also, like when we work with the communities or when we work with different stakeholders, we let them know that when someone is traveling, let's say let's take a village. Okay, if someone is going out of the village, the panchayat needs to have a register. It's actually like they need to maintain a register, like how many are in the village or how many have gone out and have they returned, and having a system, like the community members having a system, like if any job offer comes through an agent, verifying the fact that is it a legal contract, are they getting, if a legal contract is there, then it is like something, a document that says like, this many hours of work, this many hours of days of holidays, or rest hours you get, or something like, or checking if all their ID proofs are completely taken from them. Like usually in the case of bonded laborers, they usually try to take and destroy, it happens. So equipping the community to how to safely migrate, and when you migrate, and also inform your village members that you are safe, having that contacts within among their community members, that they are safe. And so these are the few things that we are trying to train community members to ensure that they are safely they are doing safe, they're migrating in a safe way, so that not to get involved in exploitation and trauma. Yeah.
How active or how vibrant is the execution of the Interstate Migrant Act? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So our expertise lies mainly with the sex trafficking, anti-sex trafficking work. Migration is something that we have taken up last year, because due to the pandemic, a lot of migrants crisis happened. And since we worked with the, experienced that there are n number of migrants who travel and they suffer, some of them suffer. So to ensure a safe building of safety nets is when this year we have started actually, to work more on it. So you'd have in one of the training, I think a week back, I would have mentioned that we are coming up with a project study to study migration pattern and aspect of trafficking, but it's still on the preliminary stage, so I will not comment now. Once it is ready, I think I will have more information to give. But with relate to trafficking of sex trafficking survivors and those vulnerable, I think with related to that, I'll be able to answer. Yeah.
Working among the community, last year there was a big announcement that you are going to establish anti-human trafficking clubs. Anti-human trafficking clubs. It was a big inauguration that was done last year. What is the progress on establishing those clubs in colleges and in the society?
I'm sorry, is it by the government or
By the government, yes, by the government,
Okay.
anti-human trafficking clubs. And they said
Okay.
they were going to establish these clubs in the colleges and in other communities. That was announced last February 2020.
Here, I think in the cities, recently also, like when the anti-trafficking day came, July 31st, I think, if I'm not wrong, is when even we've also had an invite from a college to speak as part of their anti-trafficking, club. So I think the main colleges have, because social work colleges, but in terms of progress, like how effective, I'm not aware of. So the anti-trafficking days.
Right. Friends, anyone has any questions or any comments to make?
Yes,
Time
Dr.
is
Roger,
open.
can I, Dr. Roger?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Roger. I would like to thank Malati for coming and presenting about justice and hope. We are aware, perhaps very few of us are aware of the work that you have been doing from last year. It's a commendable work. And one purpose of our getting you on board is to introduce you to our leaders, our people in the Northeast. Say, Dr. Rogers spoke about safe migration. Also, Dr. Rini. Suppose our boys and girls lands in Chennai. I am sure they are there. They will be there. Can we count on you? Suppose they come across an issue with related to their abuse, and then so that is my I am sure you will be doing, and I would like to request you for that. Please continue that assistance. And then another question that I have is, you mentioned about the helpline. Now, is this helpline 24 hours? How is it operated? Is it available pan India? Suppose somebody calls from Northeast, from Guwahati. Do you respond? And then you justice and hope, do you have your office only in Chennai? Do you also have your offices in other parts of India, so that our people would tie up, and then we would be in contact. So over to you, Maladi.
Sure, we will help any cases that we want to refer from Northeast, I mean here. And question regarding the helpline, yes, it is 24 hours, it is maintained by a staff, who responds to the call. Usually 9 to 5, that's the office timing, but whenever there's a call, our staff picks it up. And it is basically for everyone, like we may not be able to help every cases, but since we have the networks in our place, we will guide them, like these helplines are for counseling or how to report a case if they come across a domestic violence case or a child sexual abuse case or a trafficking case, like what to do next. So that the staff is equipped to give the preliminary questions and preliminary informations, so that we equip them. And also we will find a partner locally. We will also find a partner so that who can support them if they are really undergoing any abuse or violation happening, is when we work with the networks on the ground. And so far it's been like that. And we haven't said anything no to anybody, but we have tried to help whatever, whoever have approached us. Yeah.
Maradi, may I, if I ask, what about your offices? Do you your head office in Chennai? What about your other? Do you have network or you have offices in other parts of India?
So we only have office in Chennai, and we because our cases come across India, like in the government protection homes, is where we we continue to build networks. We have a network across pan India, and with individuals, NGOs, with officials, whoever there in the ground. And then it keeps growing, actually, as and when, like today, like I know I've been attending a couple of trainings with UCF NEI, and today, like, it's very encouraging to meet with people, with experienced people, and what position they hold in Northeast. So this is how our work actually happens. We are based in Chennai, but any cases that comes in, we help them out across India with the help of partners. Yeah.
Okay. The last question. Do you have a network of lawyers who can help our people? Say, for example, a boy or a girl, a group of them lands up in Chennai, and they are implicated into a legal battle, maybe with their employer or with anybody. Do you have a legal service? Do you have lawyers who can help our people?
We have a network of lawyers. Whenever we work in all our cases, we take the advice of experts. And in Northeast also, there is a few, but for every state, right now, I'm not very too sure, but we do have lawyers from Northeast, a few lawyers from Northeast. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Maradi. It was really inspiring to hear from you. And we, not only we, people from the Northeast, any case, there in Chennai, we will disturb you. We will be happy to disturb you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else has any questions? If not, we will request Reverend.
Can I ask one more?
Yes. Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, for those people, 3 people who are in Bangalore right now is expected to repatriate to Northeast on Tuesday, if they permit us. Then is the Karnataka government is responsible, who will buy the ticket, because the organization don't have money and then the individuals don't have money. How do we do that?
We can raise support. If you could share me that, like, is it a girls or women? If you could just tell me a brief,
Yes.
send me a brief message. I will put it up in my network for like a Karnataka group, and we could raise support for them for so that they are able to get back home at the earliest. Yeah.
Yes. Tomorrow they really need to buy a ticket, tatkal ticket. Yes, thank you. I will do that. Yes.
Yeah, in fact, Malti has already told you, Dr. Rini, that you can talk to her later after this program so that you can discuss more details. Thank you, Malti, for that offer of whatever possible help through your network. We will now have a concluding session where Reverend Dr. W.C. Kongwir, the moderator of the Presbyterian Church of India, will make concluding remarks as well as conclude the meeting with prayer.
Thank you, moderator. And once again, we express our thanks to Malathi for your very important and informative presentation to all of us. We are very glad to meet you this time, and we hope we can work and continue to network with you in many more days to come. I especially thank you for helping us with that restoration model. It's very, very important. Now I'm working also with my friends here, Impulse and others. We are discussing these days about this restoration, reintegration model for the affected victims. So thank you so much for your presentation. It's very lively and informative. And we hope all of us, we are blessed this evening. So on these parts, I hope we can close this session now. We don't have much to say, but many things will continue to work together, and especially with those friends that needs your help in Chennai, because many of our students, our friends, they have lived in various parts of Tamil Nadu. So definitely, we might need your help. So thank you once again. And now shall we come to the close? Shall we close the meeting? We thank you, Lord, for this beautiful time of sharing our experiences and getting to know more friends in our network as a family of UCF Northeast India. We thank you for our sister Malathi, who has been so kind to be with us and also to agree to work together and network with us from now onwards. We bless this evening, and as we depart from this meeting, may the grace for Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with you all and all God's children all over the world. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Friends.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Malti and to all of you.
Father Tom, will you make announcement for the 7 o'clock meeting?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, you can
Okay.
do. Over to you,
Yeah.
Madam. Yeah.
So the Peace on Boundary Issues series, the 8th series is happening today at 7 o'clock. So the first 7 are concentrating on Assam and Mizoram boundary problem. And then suddenly an issue of Meghalaya comes. So we cannot think of anything other than concentrating on Meghalaya today. So I would like to invite everybody